Yo, 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 what up, though? It's your boy Scrappy the Belt Guy here. Welcome back to the J Dub Belts YouTube channel. I just want to take this minute to thank everybody that's subscribed and been checking out the videos, leaving comments, and spreading the word and helping us grow. Everybody that's subscribed and has thrown a like or a thumbs down or left a comment or hit the little dinger, all you guys that do that stuff, I really appreciate you. Um, I'm here in my ever scruffy glory, which you'll see a lot when I'm working here in the shop. I'm not. I'm a little bit scruffy because why? I'm buried in the shop with leather. So I got another re-leather to follow up the AEW championship, and I just was gonna kind of go over and take a look at the plates and kind of show you what I got before I get into it. And when I start doing these videos here, I'm still working out the bugs, guys, the kinks here as far as the cameras in the shop. It's one thing where I have my podcast and have that all set up. It's a whole nother thing to get a new gimmick in here that is working right. Like, see, even that is kind of a goofy. There we go. Let me fix that. So, yeah, it's just little things like that I'll be tweaking. So. But as it gets better, as I get my stuff together here, the videos will get better. And what I'm always going to try to do is review the belts as they come in, and then start doing the work on said belt. So whether it's a re-leather coming in or something that I did, that I made, I'll kind of try to shorten the videos up a little bit for you guys. I know it's kind of hard to sit down for an hour and watch me work on stuff. But I wanted to put that out there so you could really kind of see the process and kind of how long it can really be, even though I sped the thing up crazy fast and cut out a ton of stuff. You've seen how long and how the process is. So I kind of just wanted that to be available. And now I'll shorten it up and kind of just show you the cool stuff you guys really want to see. And, once again, when I do something a little bit different than what I've done in the past, I will try to get up and close and personal and take more time with that particular technique. So that's kind of how we're going to do stuff. If I do something really cool or something I think everybody's really going to get into wild, then I'll get a little bit more in-depth into it. But when we do a standard, like that AEW, we did a lot of fun stuff with it. So a more standard re-leather, I won't get that crazy in depth, but I thought it would make good content and you guys would enjoy it, so I went for it. So look for more stuff like that. We're gonna do belt reviews, whether it's bootlegs or that come in from customers or officials that come in from customers. I got a couple officials here that are mine that I'm gonna re-leather at some point, and we'll review those belts too. And then we'll review belts from different makers at different times when we get the opportunity to do so. Today we've got a belt in here that is getting re-leathered that is made by Muzzamil Mayan, if I am correct. It is a 5mm CNC. It's 5mm zinc. It was CNC'd, and it's coming here for a re-leather. So I'm gonna just kind of show this thing off a little bit before we actually do the re-leather stuff. So here, let's dive into it. So here it is. It's the WWF. It's the Hogan 84, is what it's commonly known as. It's a 5-plate belt. All these side plates. Now I don't have them on they're not mounted to the leather. We've pulled this off of here. When it came, the side plates weren't mounted at all. So I think the original intention was to, I think they got the plates and then got the straps sent later. So I could be wrong about who made the belt, but I'll put it in the link. I'll put it in the description or whatever once I find out for sure from the customer. But it's definitely CNC'd. A standard chemical etching is not going to do what this thing does. You can, if you really get into it, you can kind of see the CNC tooling marks in some of the spots. It's really hard to get in there and clean all that out, so I'm not killing anybody on that. I really like the dimension, the depth that you get in the writing, the small letters with a CNC. It'd be super hard to do this design, this clean, and an etch. There's no way to get it that deep and look that good. So I'm really impressed with the side plates as we look at this thing. Let me grab, this is what we need to do. We need to get the camera on this thing. We've got a HD camera gimmick we can go like this with. Oh, you see it right there? Let's do that. Alright, so let's just get into it here. Side plate, see, I don't know how well that comes off on camera. Like there, it doesn't look real bad, but you can see it like around the, okay, there you go. Now you can see it a little bit. The tooling from the CNC machine. Like I said, like I have to catch it just right for you to see it. So like I ain't even mad at it. I really like how the depth that it gives. It looks really good. I like the detail that you would get on such small. I mean, look at how deep that is. So you're never doing that with a chemical etch. It's not going to come out that good. So you can definitely tell. So, and you have those elements to this belt here. When you look at it, it's just so deep. The details are pretty good in some of the stuff. Right in there. And it's super deep. They stacked a 5mm nameplate on it. That was a little ridiculous. But, you know, it's beefy. So those are the pros of this. It's definitely zinc. We did a video and revealed that a belt that was supposed to be zinc was actually brass. This is clearly zinc. Don't mind that. That's a little like resin or something that came from when these were welded on there. So, but yeah, that's all. Yeah, same thing right there. But yeah, that's all zinc for sure. Definitely tell. So yeah, no like insane discoveries there. But now those are all the pros. Like I said, it's got a phenomenal arch on it too. Looks great. All the weld points on the back of the plates are hardy as hell. So that definitely ain't coming off of there. They're all like that. I love how they did the points on the back all the way around at all the major spots, and then one in the down the center there. I really like that. That's never coming off. You know, it's not going to accidentally come off your leather, break off. So they did a really good job there. So those are all the pros. It did come with a tip. I took the tip off. It was it's over there on the table somewhere. It's a two-piece tip. Pretty standard stuff. I'll be putting it back on the new leather. I've already kind of worked it into the design. And yeah, so there's like I said, you get in here, see right there. I don't know if you guys see right there in that corner that you can see the machining. But like I said, you can see it in there under the banner a little bit. But that's not bad. We just saw a major wrestling company debut a couple of championships from a maker who used CNC, I think for like probably one of their first times, and it was really bad. Like you're looking at the pictures from way back here, and you could see the ripples and waves and circles and swirls all in it from the machining. It was brutal, and it was for one of your major super indies that has a TV deal that you see. Well, I don't know if they got a TV deal. Well, y'all know which one I'm talking about. I'm not calling out names on the YouTube channel. but y'all know who I'm talking about. They did their new, just slightly revamped world title, and then they had the women's tag team titles. And they did the same thing. They did the plates, and they machined it. But, like, you could see it from way back here how bad it was. So I'm not knocking that at all, that little bit of machining. Because, like I said, I have to get right in there and hit that light just right for you to see it. If I don't point it out and don't do that, you probably don't notice that on the belt. So it's not real bad. So I like it. It's pretty good in that respect. Now, this is where it starts to go a little awry for me. So we're going to get into the real fine details, and that's really, to me, what matters when you're looking at a CNC. That's why you get the CNC. So we're getting into here, and in this portion of the, let's see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. There's supposed to be a couple of wrestlers in there, and you can see them. And I'm not mad that they're not uber detailed, but they are muddy. I mean, look at that. From a CNC, I'd expect more. If this is acid etched, and that happened on one of them, and the other one was a little bit better, I'd probably be okay with that. But since it's a CNC, I'm a little frustrated with that. And then when I look at the one that's on the other side, because they did it on the other side, it's horrible. Like, gosh, I don't even know what that is. I couldn't tell you if there's supposed to be wrestlers in there or not. And I think it's actually upside down. If I had to guess, based on what I'm looking at there, when I look at the other one, I think the feet are in the air. And so that means it's upside down. So none of that is good. So that really bums me out. That could even happen. That's probably the worst of it, though. But that being said, the details in this eagle are pretty wonky. That banner, where it comes in to the eagle, should be much more pronounced. Like, can you even tell that there's a banner there if I didn't tell you? Like, if I'm going like this, and I don't tell you there's a banner there, you just think the wings drop off? The face, I don't, and the detail there, and the wings, I'm just not happy with. I've seen better detail in a standard chemical etch, but never depth like this. But I mean, so that bothers me. I would expect that the fine details in that eagle around that banner and those wrestlers in that crown, I want the crown actually isn't that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. But I would expect a little bit better. Everything else is really amazing on these plates, to be quite honest. Yeah, everything else on these plates is really nice. If I had a CNC, so I would just recommend whatever they did. This would be the only thing they need to figure out is how to get this detail better. I don't know if it's part of the artwork. To me, it feels like there's an issue with the file used, the data file or whatever used to make this thing work, and you ended up with these wonky wrestlers. That's really the worst of it. When you look at the eagle and stuff from back here, it's not too bad. It's just kind of muddy, it's okay. But when you get in on it, you're like, wait a minute. That like I said, from a standard etch, I wouldn't be freaking out. But I still think you could have done something in the design to make that banner have a solid line there where you can actually tell that that's a separate banner. And it doesn't just kind of bleed into a spot that didn't get worked. Didn't get detail. So that would be the only complaint I could come up with, other than this strap, this leather strap, which we're going to get to next. So let's do this real quick. Let's take and let's move onward. Get these plates off of here. And now I dig the idea. I know what they were trying to do. I really like the, lacing of belts. I think is fun. Um, the dual lacing. I am not an expert at that. That's probably one of my weaker points because I've never really done it. I've done it in practice, but I've never really I've never actually done a belt with the lacing. So I've watched it being done multiple times. I've done it on a couple little chunks of leather, but I never really try to do it for a long run, like around the shape of a belt. I make sure it looks, good and even. So, but when I look at this one, initially at first glance, the lacing isn't bad, um, but when you get into it a little bit, you can see it's not great. Um, but I'm not going to murder it. I think a big part of the problem is the hole size and how many and the spacing and kind of where they're lined up. It kind of looks like they just went around and punched each individual one instead of using something that would punch multiples at a time, which would help you kind of keep them all even across as far as there wouldn't be one or two wonky holes out there. Um, and so some parts are pretty good, but not so much. Now, as far as overseas leather goes, this stuff is pretty good. It's soft. It's not great, but it's pretty good. I mean, overseas leather can be really bad, and this isn't too bad. No, this is definitely an acrylic leather paint. If you do colors like this, they're almost always an acrylic leather paint. Um, so, like, I always try to stick to blue, black, the oxblood if you want to go with red, brown. Those are all easy dyes. You can get colored dyes um, for sure, but to get the vibrancy here that you get, they're almost always going to be an acrylic leather paint, which is fine, but it definitely feels and looks a little bit different um, than what you would get from a typical dye job like we did on our AEW custom. It's just got the 2x5 snap box on the female side, and it's got a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, a 2x7. So 2x5 and 2x7, kind of interesting. 2x7 on the male. So I'm assuming they went the 2x7. And there's a property plate that was on here we removed and repainted and put on the AEW. These came not too far apart from each other, and so that's why this one's the next one in. So yeah, let me show you. Let's go and we'll look at this leather a little bit more. So like I said, the lacing isn't, see right there is pretty decent looking. Like there's a run of it that's pretty decent. Then you look here and it looks like wonky. See, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I got to do more work on shapes with the lacing. I wouldn't want mine to be inconsistent. See how it's okay, and then you have those little areas of inconsistencies. But overall, it's not the worst lacing job I've ever seen. Now, when you get up here, you can see where I was talking about how like some of the holes jump out further than the others, and then that forces it to that forces some of that inconsistency, I'm sure, when you're looking at the other end of it, like right here when we're running along the edge, and that's because you're gonna have some of that. Yeah, see how all the holes are just, none of them really line up to each other. So that's the key to making that stuff look really good, especially if you're gonna do two colors, right? Two contrasting colors. If you do black lace on a black strap, that'll be so much less noticeable. I would probably run over this thing and go, oh, that's really not that bad. But you can kind of see. And then what tooling, they did no zero tooling except for on the property plate, and very half-ass and not very good, but whatever. Same thing, they had to they had a tip on here and did the lacing up to the tip, which I'm gonna have to give them credit, is not an easy thing to do. A customer asks for something like that and you're trying to pull it off. That is not an easy thing to do. So I'm not gonna be mad at them. When that tip is on there, that actually was pretty good, to be honest. You know, to be able to do that and not have it look all messed up. So it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad at all. So I was kind of surprised. So now the back on this thing, this is the other thing I was kind of surprised. The backing on here is actually a real leather backing, and it looks like it was dyed properly. Now they didn't edge or burnish or anything like that, because I guess they figured the lacing you wouldn't notice, but in some places they probably should have edged it. They definitely should have edged it. Even if they didn't burnish it, they should have really put an edge coat on it so you can't see the raw leather from the underside, because you can see raw leather from the underside, and that's because they didn't put anything on the edges. They didn't even dye the edges. So that would be a downer. But this is actually like real leather. Now that's not the greatest leather ever, but it's better than like a faux backing. Like I put fake backing on. I charge an extra $25 to put anything real on the back, or anything special like a croc skin or a snake skin. Even if it's faux, it's going to start at 25 and then go up. The real stuff gets more expensive. So to get that that's pretty good, and it looks like it was glued down well, but this is a send out strap for sure, because there's no holes in it. So the intention was to punch holes in it, and when you got it, and they must have sent it out with the property plate on it, because it was underneath that. I had to cut it out to get it off. So, and this is glued on really well, so I'll give them credit for that. They glued that on there. So yeah, there was some pros and cons about it. I could see why they wanted to re-leather. He's going to go with a more traditional type of look. So I can see why he wanted to do something different. But yeah, that's basically it right there. So we'll put these plates on. Well, we already kind of did it. We got the leather cut. It's hanging up over there, and I started. Now see, when you look at this, it's kind of weird, right? It's a little bit of a now this belt came at one point. Oh, these are right in the holes. So that's right in the holes right there. So that belt, this belt came originally with like a super tight cut. So like they did it pretty tight here, but down here it's not. So I don't like that consistency there. And then the depth here, and then having it short there. I prefer to have, if I'm going to do it like this, where it's got this space, which is fine, then I want it to look that same right up here. And so I don't like this consistency here. So when we do it, we're going to do it a little tighter, a little nicer here, and we're going to do both the same. And then, you know, we'll do the straight. We'll do some pretty basic tooling, but it'll look really, really nice. It'll be really, really deep. We're going to do some a couple of custom things to it, which we'll show you as we get done. But yeah, we'll hook this bad puppy up. So we got another one coming from the same customer, I do believe. Then we got a few more that are coming down the road. People have really, since the AEW title, have really jumped in on our signature style. So this one will be more of a traditional style, but we will definitely be doing more of the we'll definitely be doing more of our fun, like our signature style here that I kind of do here coming up. So I just wanted to show you that quick video. Hope you guys are digging it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment if you got any questions about leather goods or anything like that down in the comment section below. We'll hook you up. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, let everybody know what's going on over here. We got a ton of cool stuff, like I said earlier in the video, coming down the pipe. So please, you know, spread the word and come back and join us again. I appreciate your few minutes of time, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.